What's up, guys? Welcome back, or if you're new here, come on in. The water's great. My name is Sean, and I am just out here automating stuff, building cool apps with AI, and teaching you how to do it too. So today we're going to be building an automated lead scoring system for our very own actual AI agency. We'll be using a few different things. Number one, our own custom website build, where I'm going to show you how I use Windsurf to automatically embed a Typeform into our website. Then we're going to use Zapier to actually read those submissions, score the information with ChatGPT, and finally push those results into our project management tool, which in this case is going to be ClickUp. While this workflow might seem basic, if there's one thing that is true in life, it's that it's the simple things done exceptionally well that really move the needle. We don't always need super convoluted workflows, super convoluted lead generation systems, super convoluted sales systems, super convoluted marketing systems. We just need to do a few things that make sense really, really, really well. And this system is a great example of that. So to set us off on the right foot here, first I'm going to show you what exactly it is that we are dealing with and what I'm going to be showing you how to set up. We have our agency site here, and there's different sections on it, right? So have our header, right? What we can do, types of things we can help with, types of solutions that we have, little comparison table, all of this, which by the way was built with AI, and I am going to put a video together on that if you guys would like. How to get started, right? Just some cool sections looking really nice. Okay. And then at the very bottom here, we have this embedded Typeform. So the purpose of this Typeform, obviously, is that somebody that wants to work with us can. And so they can come in here, they can say start, and they can start filling out some of this information. So what business are you in? What does your business do? So we could say, I'm a digital entrepreneur that sells info products, teaching people, I don't know, how to date better. Just making something up here. Do you want a one-time project or an ongoing recurring? Let's just say they want something for one time. What specifically would you like help with? Automating my copywriting system. Something like that. Currently monthly revenue. Say they're making 10 to 50 grand a month. Website URL. So they don't have a website. Not my actual phone number, so don't text me. Right, so they go through, they put all this in. They book with us. Schedule event. And success. This is what we are going to be looking at. So how do we create this, and then how do we hook this into our overall sales system? Because if I was to go hop now over into my ClickUp account, we can see that this new card was created right here. And if we were to click into this, we can now see all of the application answers inside. And then we can see how the AI actually scored this app, which they scored it as a 2 out of 5. Okay. This is the process that is going to make this thing work. So we look for a Typeform entry coming through. We use ChatGPT in order to grade the application, and then we push all of that information into our ClickUp instance. So the first thing that you really need for this process is going to be your Typeform, obviously. For purposes of this video, I'm not actually going to show you guys, and I know I said in the intro, so I have lied to you. But I'm not actually going to go through and show you how to like actually embed this into like a Next.js site. I don't think that's really within the scope of what I want to show you here. But with any major web development platform, you can embed stuff pretty easily. So let's just assume we have a Typeform. You could also just be linking out to this Typeform with your regular link if you wanted to. So we have this form here, and we have our questions. So what type of business do they run? What does the business do? One-time project or an ongoing project? What do they want help with specifically? Current monthly revenue, URL to their website. Then they book a call. Now what happens is when they finish booking that call, their information gets popped in to Typeform. So this row gets completed and it sends a webhook out to our Zapier account. So if we were to look inside of this Zapier account, first thing you got to do, connect your account. Obviously, that's really straightforward. Pick the form. This form is just very creatively called My New Form. And then we want to go and find records to pull through. Okay. So if I was to hit, if you come through here, by the way, and hit find new record, it's going to find the most recent pull of something. And so if we look at this entry D, we see that response that we just made. So what is the business? What does the business do? Are you looking for a one-time project or not? And everything else that they filled out throws all of that in here. Okay, then we have all of those responses. So we say continue with that record. That means we're going to go to this OpenAI node and we're going to pull that information through to the next step. So now that we're in here, we want to configure this OpenAI node. So what is the user message? You're an expert sales manager that has made their name in large enterprise SaaS companies. Your job is to take an application for a prospect of my agency and score it 1 to 5 based on likelihood to buy. A score of 1 means highly unlikely. Score of 5 means highly likely. The service sells for $3,000 to $5,000 per month, helping mostly digital native companies automate their business and also apply AI workflows for purposes of greater profit. Okay, so let's just look at this top piece. We're giving it a persona, which we know when we talk to models like a generalized GPT or any other basic large language model, you want to tell it what its persona is that you want it to kind of embody. And then we're going to start giving parameters on how it should do its job. So score of 1 is unlikely, score of 5 highly likely, little context about our service, okay? Obviously, the reason that we're doing this is so it can understand based on the application questions, would this person likely be able to afford this thing or not? So your scoring should consider number 1, their capacity to buy the product financially. And number 2, their desire for a solution based on their responses. Okay, so what we're saying is, how do you want to do the qualification? So another way to think of this, just backing up for 1 second, is we're doing an automatic lead qualification. And so in the context of wherever you might use a system like this, and you're using like a GPT to score it for you, you want to really think through, how would I evaluate somebody in like the discovery process? Or how would I vet this person and make sure that they're the right fit for my business? So obviously finances tend to be a really big thing with that. And then there are a few other things that obviously could be a really good fit as well. So that's what we're looking at here. We want them to consider at least their financial capacity to buy this thing. And then we also want to consider their desire for this type of solution. Now, the way that we're going to get that desire piece is from their responses, right? Their responses in the application question. So we have that. Then we come down here and we say, your output should only consist of the number. I don't want pretext. I don't want post-text. I don't want explanations. I want the numeric score. And then we pass in the application questions or the application responses. Then we need to pick our model that we're going to be using. So depending on what account you're connected with, you can use different models here. What I will say on the model selection piece, if you are doing something that's a very well-defined task, such as this, you should just use a GPT model. They're going to be as accurate as you need them to be. They're going to be very fast. They're going to be low latency if like the speed of the responses matters to you. You just want to use a general GPT. Giving this type of prompt that we went through to something like O3 or O1 is kind of a waste of money because we're not asking it to craft some amazing solution, right? We're just asking it to like, hey, take this information and perform this task for me. So GPT-4o mini I think is fine for this. Memory key would be useful if you want to have any sort of memory, right? So if you wanted to then go ask it a question about this prospect in a chat bot, maybe you could have like actual context of the conversation. Then we can come down here, we can provide assistant instructions and so on. So now one thing that I think would really improve this if you wanted to roll out this type of solution for yourself is that what you would want to do is give examples of applications that have been graded a certain way. What does that mean? If you have done this manually, like maybe 5-10 times, you would want to prompt, here are other applications that were given, and here's the score that I gave them and why I gave them that score. Now, why would you want to do something like that? In this example, when we went through, one thing you would have noticed is that they gave us a 2. They gave a 2 for this lead. And let's actually just look through these responses. So, digital entrepreneur that sells info products. Okay, that is for sure within the context of what we do or someone that we could help. The fact that they want a one-time or recurring doesn't really matter that much. What would you like help with? Automating their copywriting system, something that we have proven use cases for. What's your current monthly revenue? They're making 10 to 50K a month. Okay. Depending on where they sit in there, yeah, a $3,000 to $5,000 per month retainer might not make sense, right? They're at 10K, $5,000 retainer might not make sense. If they're at 40K, definitely could make sense, especially if you're able to help scale their business a lot more, right? Or reduce other costs that they have. And so I could see maybe how it would have given that score. If we look just for context at one of the other application questions that we had in here, it gave this one a 3. And let's look at what those responses looked like. We saw mustache grooming advice. I was clearly taking this very seriously while testing. What would you like help with? Automating outbound sales. Okay. 10 to 50K. But this one, it gave a 3. So really interesting where the revenue band was the same, yet in one situation it gave a 2 and in one situation it gave a 3. So if we were to just consider this as being static within that context of what we passed to the UI, they either think that automating outbound sales is more valuable or that, right, this other answer we gave, we saw mustache grooming advice, was in some way inherently more valuable. So this is why we would want to come in here and really provide a lot more robust context behind here. So the way that I would do that is exactly that. Say, you would come down and say, examples of apps, right? Examples of apps. And then we could say, below are 5 apps that were given and how I graded them with explanations as to why. And so then with inside of here, I would do this, right? These types of LLMs, by the way, love structured data. So if you could come through and give information like this, right? Where we're finding like an XML format where it's like, hey, the main parent of this is example of apps, and then here's each example, right? And if I was gonna do this, I would do this 5 times. And then inside of each of these, you could give different application responses that were given to you, what you graded it, and why those responses resulted in that grade specifically. This is gonna help you get a significantly better context. Now, I will say there's other stuff you can do, right? I'm using a basic conversation node here. And so there's, again, like more advanced things that you could do if you wanted to really, really dial this thing in. But again, I think this is perfect for the context of what we are doing. So it goes through, right? It runs this thing, and then it pops us out a score, okay? So it pops us out a score, which is right here. What's the message? It was a 3, right? So it pops out the score, and then if we go into our ClickUp task and we configure that, first thing we need to pick is the workspace, then the space, great naming convention. So, right, workspace, which is this overall workspace up here, the brew, space, which is admin internal, and then the list inbound sales pipeline, admin internal, there's no folder, so just no folder, inbound sales pipeline, and then we give it the task name, right, first name, last name, which if we were to come back in here, first name, last name is the task. Go back and look at it in Kanban board style, right? First name, last name, first name, last name. And then task description is just where we load up all of our information inside of here. Okay. And then last but not least, once you create a custom field, which is what this is, we're able to pass that custom field in. And so the way that you create those inside of ClickUp is you just come down on a deal card down to custom fields. You hit plus, create field, and then you can just pick, is this they have like AI fields, like a summarization, a categorization, or any of these. You just pick out which one it is, and then after you've done that, it's gonna show up for you right here. So if I was to come in here, for example, and just say like create field, and then say it's a text field called foo. You can see that it's there now. We have foo. And so if we were to come back in here now and refresh this, now foo is here. And so I would be able to just put extra data inside of that field. So once you have this all configured and you've done these, so you have the Typeform, you get the application responses coming through, then you have your, again, your user message that you send through. By the way, if you're a complete beginner when it comes to Typeform, if you hit the slash symbol in here, it will pull up all of the entries that you had. And so that's how I got this in here. I just picked it, right? Just click it just like that. And it's gonna pull through all of those responses for you. Pretty cool. So we have our Typeform published. We get a response from it, sends out the message to ChatGPT. From there, publishes a task for us inside of our system here. And now we have an automated lead scoring system powered by AI. Now, the last thing that I will say to finish this off is there's obviously a lot of opportunity within this type of workflow, right? So you imagine we're really doing one thing here, which is an application grading. But you can imagine the full scope of like all of the things that you could realistically do here. Let's say if it was a 5-star, hot buyer that is in a specific vertical that has a specific problem, we could send them, for example, case studies that we have. We could send them PDFs that we have already based on like an AI-based matching system that says, hey, this is probably the best one for them. Let me pull that PDF. Let me construct an email that's going to go out. Let me pull the context of their application in and actually write an email, explain how this PDF is relevant to them in the context of their problem, and send that email out. If you can start doing that type of stuff immediately, that is when your sales really start to explode. And obviously a system like this can be used for like internal tooling. It could be used for external tooling. You could sell this to your own clients. You could run this for yourself. You could even run this in your own life, depending on what you've got going on, how you categorize things in your life. Really, the sky's the limit with these types of tools. But again, it's the basic things done really well that typically determine if you're going to be successful. Not super convoluted system, not the million node N8N agent from Doom, the N8N agent from hell that does everything you could ever want it to do, Iron Man style. That's not the type of stuff that's gonna like really move the needle in a super huge way. Those things are valuable and they are practical. But again, how can we do things that are incredibly valuable, but very simple, and just automate the process of doing those things? That's where we get awesome gains in life and in business. Do the right thing, do the simple thing, and do it well. So that being said, hope you found the video helpful. Let me know if you apply this in your own business or in your life down below in the video. If there's other extensions of this that you would like to see built out, if you want to see more robust examples of it, whatever it might be, just let me know. I like building stuff, so why not just, shoot me a message and say what you'd like to see built and use me as your builder. That was a weird way to end a video, but that's what I got. I'll see you guys in the next one.